For our cinnamon roll-topped berry cobbler, we're going to start by putting in our berries, and now we're going to add the sugar. Now I use Swerve, you use your favorite sugar. Now we're adding the tapioca, the water, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now we'll give this a good mix, and then we'll put our cinnamon rolls on the top. This recipe was designed to work in a 5-quart slow cooker. I have a 6-quart here, so you can see it doesn't cover the entire thing with cinnamon rolls, but if you're doing this in like a larger than a 6, I would suggest doubling all the ingredients, but always keep the cinnamon rolls in a single layer. Now we didn't put the icing on, we do that after the time's up, and I do this on low 4 to 5 hours, so I did 4.5. We're going to spread the icing now over the warm rolls and just let that melt, and then it's time to dish up. Here's the cobbler in the bowl. It was missing something. A spoon and ice cream. It was really delicious, and I hope you try it. For our triple chocolate brownies, the first thing you do is coat the inside of the slow cooker with non-stick cooking spray. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. I chose to use a liner. This is optional, whichever you prefer to do. We're going to combine the brownie mix, the chocolate chips, the brown sugar, the water, the eggs, the butter, the pudding mix, and the cocoa. Yep, there's a lot of chocolate. I think these are death by chocolate brownies. After you get everything in here, you give it a good stir. Now this was a little difficult with the liner in there, but I got it done. And then you cover it and you cook this on high for 2 hours, after which you turn off the heat and let it stand for 30 minutes. I had to use the timer on my refrigerator because the slow cooker wouldn't go down to 2 hours on high. Here's our finished plate. They were so rich. We served ours with whipped cream, which was lovely. You could also do ice cream. I'm sure you'll love this if you love chocolate. For today's dessert, we're going to be using some dividers. They're silicone that go in the slow cooker. There is one brand that's called Crockpots, which I thought was very catchy. I don't have that brand, but anyway. We're first of all, for this dessert, going to be making the cake mix. And we're going to mix that up with some melted butter, egg, vanilla, and then we're going to give that a good mix. Now here's the two dividers. So we're going to make one apple cobbler and one cherry cobbler. Now if you don't have the dividers, you can just get 2 cans of either apple or 2 cans of cherry. But I wanted to try out this because you can make 2 at once, and I thought that was kind of cool. So we're going to put 1 in each pocket. And I thought I gave it a good mix, but I see some cake mix dry down there, but it all works out. You divide this up between the 2 sides and spread it out as evenly as possible. It all comes together eventually, so don't worry too much. And then after you've put the cake mix in there, you're going to mix up some cinnamon and sugar and sprinkle it over the cobblers. Now the cinnamon called for a 1/4 teaspoon and then a whole tablespoon of sugar. And it was a little much. I didn't use it all. I'll show you, I think, what was left over. So maybe start with half of that. And put the lid on and cook this on high for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I ended up doing it with the cooking timer on the fridge because it wouldn't go to 2 hours and 15 minutes on high. So here it is when it was done. And we served ours with ice cream. You can do that, or you can do whipped cream. They were both very good. I had, I think, the cherry the first night and the apple the second night, and Big Daddy did the other way around, but we both enjoyed both cobblers. I hope you give it a try. Here are your ingredients. Now we're going to make a pecan pie. Now I used like an oval shaped slow cooker. That's all I have really. But after it was made, I had a light bulb go off in my head. I have an Instant Pot. It's round and you can use it as a slow cooker. So next time I make a pie in my slow cooker, I'll be using the Instant Pot. So the first thing you do is add the uncooked pie crust to your slow cooker and then press the edges up about 1/2 inch up the sides. Now we're going to mix eggs, Karo syrup, pecans, margarine, and vanilla. And then we'll mix that all together and pour that on the pie crust. And then you cook this on high for 2 to 3 hours. Now mine took 3 hours in this particular slow cooker, but they're all different, so be sure to check on it after 2 hours. Mine, however, was still a little jiggly, and so I left it for 3 hours, and then I turned it off and it came out great. Now the only thing I noticed is because mine was oval and not round, the actual pecan pie was flatter than a regular pie, I guess is the word. But if I do it in the round one next time, I think that'll solve that problem. So if you have a round slow cooker, that's the best way to do it. I was getting ready to put the lid on and I realized there was like a spot in the middle here that didn't have any nuts. So I decided, well, pecan nuts, and I decided to spread them out throughout the pie. And we're going to put the lid on and set it to cook. Here it is once it was done, and here are our finished plates. Like I said, absolutely delicious flavor. I just wish I'd have thought of doing a round one, but they all taste the same, don't they? You'll find a link in the description box below that will take you to my blog. All the recipes are listed there with ingredients and directions. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. If you made it to the end, please leave me a dessert emoji in the comments. You guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see y'all on Friday. Bye guys.